I don't take days off, do I? When my number is called, I don't take plays off, do I? I'ma always give you 20 and 10, no matter how much you wanna pretend that I ain't clutch with it. I don't do the load management, maybe I can handle it. When the heat is on, I can manage it.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Others Receiving Votes podcast, sponsored by M-Glow. I'm your host, Loren Woods, a.k.a. Big Low. And welcome to the Friday Inferno. And I was looking over my college transcripts. This was a few days back because I'm when you coach athletics, high school athletics, middle school athletics, most of the time the school does a background check, and sometimes you have to have like certain degrees or certain certificates or something like that. And this particular school requires that you have a degree, a college degree. So I had to go back and get my college transcripts, and I hadn't seen them in a while. So when I downloaded them, I looked through them, obviously, to see, just kind of reminisce, I guess, and think about if there were any classes that I remembered and stuff like that. And I graduated in 2002. And so my college transcripts were kind of funny, to say the least. So basically, the first or every semester. So in college, it might be a little bit different now. I don't really know the NCAA rules as far as eligibility is concerned with the G.P.A. and everything, and like class requirements and course requirements and all that. But back then, you had to have at least four courses, which I think were 16 credits that you had to have minimum, and you had to have an average of a 2.0 G.P.A. for an entire year for you to be eligible to play the next year. So it was funny because I'm looking at the transcripts, and let's say like the first semester I had like a 1.5, C, D, D, C, D. It was crazy. It was just like C's and D's, unbelievable. Actually, it's very believable. I rarely went to class. It makes sense. So, and I'm not advocating for it. I'll get to what I'm going to talk about a little bit later, but this is going to pretty much be the setup to that story now, or to that topic. Sorry. So now, and then I look at the second semester. Second semester, always a 2.5, or a 2.7, something like that. A, B, C, something like that. Very, very, very easy. What from what I remember, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I could do the work. So, but I got to make sure I maintain my eligibility. Now, that was a way that I pretty much lived. That was like the motto I lived by. Like I'm here to play basketball. I remember when I first started university, me and one of my good friends were having a conversation, or we were in a class, and they were talking about student athletes. And I remember I turned and looked at him, and I said, student athletes, man, they tripping. I'm an athlete. I didn't care about school at all, probably since like the third grade. And like my whole life, it was, I had to have a 2.0 to play. That's all I'm getting is a 2.0, period. All C's. Or if I got some D's now, I know I just got to get some B's to average those out. 2.0, period. I don't want to hear nobody talking. I'm doing what I got to do to play, right? So that's what my college transcripts look like. And I remember at the end, now when I got my degree, I remember that I had to have a B in psych statistics in order for me to get my degree, because I was going to be like under, and my G.P.A. when I graduated was like a 2.05. Nothing to brag about. It was hilarious. Actually, I didn't care so much then, because my degree was in basketball, and that's what I wanted to do, and I was going to do that. But I looked at my transcripts, and it was kind of embarrassing. Like, a 2.05, that's not that good. And I remember in order to get my degree, I had to have it over a 2.0, and I had to get a B in psych statistics, which was ridiculously hard to me. But I did it. I actually got the B. I think got close to an A. I remember talking to the teacher, and I think I had like an 88% or something like that. But I studied. I worked hard. But the reason I'm talking about this is because there's so many guys who I know have that same sentiment, that have that same attitude about school, where it's like, no, I'm just going to be a basketball player and that's it. I'm not doing anything else. So I don't care about school and all that. And I'm going to tell you firsthand that from what I'm seeing now, there is a much better way to approach it. And that way is to actually do well in school. Now, if you can't, and I don't really believe in can't, but if it's a struggle for you and that's all you can get is a 2.0 or a 2.3 or whatever the GPA requirement is now, then fine. You know, work your hardest. You get a 2.3. Nobody's going to look down on you. You know, especially if you're a good player and, you know, that's what you need to get into school or to maintain your athletics to be able to play. So if that's what it is, then that's what it is. But I was way better than that. I for sure could have gotten a 3.5 or for sure over a 3.0, high school and college. Easy. I know I could have. I barely listened in class since the fourth grade, and I still passed easy. But, you know, now the competition is just, it's too tough. The competition is crazy. So it's like, why not separate yourself and have an amazing GPA? And this isn't like, forget about just basketball. This is like everybody, you know, do the best you possibly can to have an amazing GPA, because when you're coming out of high school, especially, or even middle school now, even to get into some high schools now, you have to have a great GPA in middle school. If you're coming out of middle school or high school and you already separated yourself academically, you know, the sports is just going to be like icing on the cake. You know, and I really want to stress this to a lot of the high school guys out there, because there's a lot of high school guys out there that are just okay. Or, you know, they're good enough to play, but maybe not good enough to get a scholarship. And it's a lot of those guys out there who I know are just playing around in school. I know it. I know some. And they're just playing around in school when they could be getting these great grades. You know, get a 3.5, get a 3.7, get all A's, you know, make the dean's list, do all of that. And then you separate yourself that way. And then you're just a good basketball player, but it's nowadays more than I've seen. A lot of these guys who have these great grades, maybe getting like partial scholarships or academic scholarships, and maybe not even getting any scholarships, just going to school, but having great grades. These colleges are giving them scholarships after 1 or 2 years. And like sophomores and juniors, maybe they pay for school for the first year or two. And then these schools, because they have great academics, because they work extremely hard, and because they're good players, they're giving them scholarships after 1 or 2 years. And most walk-ons, I've known some walk-ons who weren't even that good. Like they were just okay players. And because they had great grades and came to practice and worked hard every single day in practice, that last year they got a scholarship. Still saved them thousands of dollars, for sure, or tens of thousands of dollars, depending on what school they went to. You know, for sure. So, basically, bottom line is just there's a better way now. And with the competition being what it is, there's no reason, with the exception of some kind of learning disability, which there's a lot of people out there that have them. But you know what? There's a lot of people out there that have overcome them too. But we're not talking about that. You know, like with the exception of that, if you can do the work and you can, you know, get a high GPA or high scores or high grades, you know, get all A's and B's, stuff like that, that's what's going to separate you for sure and be seen, because you can always go to a school, walk on to the team, and then get a scholarship that way. All it is just a back door to get what you want. You know, okay, yeah, you didn't get recruited. You didn't get the D1, D2 scholarships or whatever that you wanted coming out. But so what? Here's the back door way in. And that's that. I just been thinking about that over the last couple of days, actually, since I saw my college transcripts. And I don't want anybody to go, do the same things or go through the same things that I did or make the same mistakes. I was also 7 feet tall, when I was graduating high school and college. So, well, I was 6'11" graduating high school and then 7 feet graduating college. Well, I'm still 6'11", but, you know, NBA height was like 7'1", you know, because everybody in the NBA is like 2 or 3 inches taller than what they actually are in person. Of course, everybody knows that who's met an NBA player. Like, wait a minute, I thought you was 6'7", and they're really like 6'3", but that's how it is. Anyway, y'all stay fortunate and be blessed.
I don't take days off, do I? When my number is called, I don't take plays off, do I? I'ma always give you 20 and 10, no matter how much you wanna pretend that I ain't clutch with it. I don't do the load management, maybe I can handle it. When the heat is on, I can manage it. I'm kinda like James Harden's career, I can walk whenever I feel, and that's fact.